up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going, Celtic Warrior? James.
Soda.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
Fella.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Welcome to Wrestling on the Rocks, where every show is our first show and every episode is episode 1. It's going to be a humdinger today.
Hell yeah.
I'm at Ref Marsh. We're at WOTR the show. That's at Crybaby Klump. How you doing, Klump?
Doing good, man. How are you doing? How are y'all doing, folks? I hope everyone's enjoying the show that started 30 seconds ago.
That's a good point. Good point. Hopefully,
Yeah.
So far, so good. Easy
Internet
does
cuts
it.
Out. Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to do the show a little bit different today, as you can probably tell already. I'm remarkably hungover. We didn't either of us watch much of AEW, and we only liked limited stuff on NXT. So we decided we're going to watch some stuff to relive good moments and get us excited again.
Mm-hmm.
And also, so we don't have to harp on too much stuff for too long. Watch what you like.
Yeah. Don't be a dick.
Yeah, don't be a dick. Yeah, absolutely, dude. It is awesome to get a chance to do this a little bit because we're going to put on a Suzuki match. We're going to do Suzuki versus Thatcher, and we're going to do, just for the fun of it, because we just had Suzuki versus Daniel Bryan, which is the only AEW that you and I watched this week. We decided to pick a Suzuki match and a Daniel Bryan match to watch, and I thought it would be actually cool because I brought it up a few times. The last match that Daniel Bryan had in WWE against Roman on Smackdown, because I don't think you got a chance to see it, and I think that it was actually an incredible swan song for that part of his career. So, and having seen him do a couple matches here or in AEW now, where I've mentioned a couple times where I'm like, it just seems to me like not quite. Not what I was expecting on most of these, but we'll get into that. We will get into that. Let's start with what's in your glass, dude. What's in your glass?
Coffee. Black coffee. I'm out of milk.
Oh, that's fine. I'm having watermelon wave naturally flavored energy drink.
Shouldn't you be having like Pedialyte?
It's got electrolytes in it. So I was hoping that it would basically be the same thing.
It's got what plants crave. What do plants crave? Electrolytes.
Yeah, it has what plants need. You know what plants crave. Yeah, dude. Let's talk a little bit. There's a little bit of news here and there. Yesterday, Hacksaw Jim Duggan went in for an emergency surgery, but then he came out of surgery and was given the old thumbs up. So everything seems to have gone really well, which is awesome. And I just wanted to cheers him. We were a little nervous in the morning when we saw that one, so it was really 100%. Good. And yeah, and you got to come meet him for the first time with us just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I know. So far he is still the only person in wrestling I've met, which says something. Oh no, Goldberg. Met Goldberg.
Yeah, you met him as a kid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not as tall as he seems, but no, it was really, really cool meeting Jim Duggan. An amazing show. Best of luck in recovery. Hope it wasn't too bad. Yeah.
Yeah, and if it turns out that he gets well enough to get back on tour, then yeah, we highly suggest making it a thing, making it out there.
Hell yeah.
I don't have much else for as far as news goes. We're going to talk about it, like break down Crown Jewel and everything else that was around it on next week's episode 1. But dude, just want to shout it out. Xavier Woods won King of the Ring, dude.
If you listen to the New Day podcast, if you heard him in interviews, what he wants, his highest aspiration in WWE and wrestling is to be King of the Ring from everything he's reported. Yep. Nothing better than seeing that. And when I saw they were bringing it back, there's only one person it could be. If they did it to anyone else, I'd be ripping and tearing mad.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things too where it's like, Do they go with the feel-good moment just because it's a feel-good moment? And what are they going to do from here? Are they actually going to utilize it in his character growth at all? Like, is it just going to be a thing? Is he going to come out with a crown just for the fucking fun of it? But I don't know. I don't know where they're going to go with it. But at the same time, he was in the finals match against Finn Balor, and I mean, I had every reason to believe that you could potentially have Finn Balor win that. You know what I mean? Like, and we've seen it a bunch of other times before. Just because it feels like it's going to be a good moment doesn't mean it has to be a feel-good moment if it doesn't take the character or the story anywhere they want it to go. So the idea that they did go ahead and crown Xavier Woods, I thought that was so awesome, dude. So awesome. Awesome enough to where if they don't utilize it at all in his character, none of us as big Woods fans are bothered by that. We're just happy he got that. You know what I mean?
100%. Now, I haven't followed the main brands. Is there any thing you get for winning King of the Ring?
It hasn't in the past. There was only a couple of times, and actually Sam Roberts broke it down really well on his podcast. There's very, very few. There was early on where it was like, hey, you won King of the Ring and you got a title shot. Like Owen got that.
Mabel
got that, absolutely. But like Brett didn't. Brett ended up having to win the Rumble to get in. And obviously Baron Corbin never did. I don't believe Booker T or Wade Barrett or Sheamus or any of them got anything like that. So I mean, it's just no. The last few times we saw it, they used it as a way to make a character turn into an actual king, like King Corbin and Barrett and Sheamus and them.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they do with it. It would be kind of neat if he actually did start coming out with the old scepter. We got Jeremiah in the chat too, already saying, he goes, "What's up, legends? You get a crown, a cape, and a scepter. Yeah, that's what you get."
Boom.
Yeah. So I hope he does rock it. I really liked, because we talked about it on SmackDown, me and Kev yesterday. Woods put on the cape, and then Kofi stood behind him and started like whipping the cape so it looked like it was flowing in the wind. And it was really cool, but we also got super nervous. We're like, oh, that's the tell-all. They're not going to give it to him. I think he was just trying to get that photo shot that he's not going to get otherwise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But then he won it.
Hell yeah.
So really fucking cool. Really cool. And then the first queen's crown ended up being Zelena Vega.
That's awesome for her.
It's really cool for her. Because of all the stuff that we've seen from her online, the interview stuff that we've seen with even like Alistair or Malachi talking about how one of the main reason that Zelena even came back was to be with him on the road again. Like they've mentioned that. I thought there was a really good chance that also insinuates that whenever your contract is up, you're not going to re-sign because your idea is then to leave, right? I was really curious if they were ever going to let her win a match again and just utilize her to talk people into matches, put over talent, get the storylines moving. Because, like, use what you got, and she's incredible on the mic.
Yeah.
But I wasn't surprised she was losing every single match. There's part of me is kind of like, well, she can talk herself into the match. She just can't win them, and that kind of works for a heel. So the idea that they let her win this whole tournament, especially against Doudrop, who's got a ton of fanfare behind her, I'm curious what they're going to do with that. I think it's really cool.
And I mean, honestly, that speaks to, like, with Doudrop losing, Doudrop's got a lot of pull behind them, but I don't know. Is there still like a kind of push against the name? Like because I haven't followed when I heard that she was attached to Eva Marie. I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be interesting and rough. And hearing like even the name, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah.
How's the character?
It's been great. Her character is awesome, and I actually thought there was a possibility she could win the Queen's crown just so that she could get to a moment of Unqueen Piper instead of Doudrop. But that's obviously not what happened. What was that going on?
PWI list
came out. PW 500 came out. All right, I haven't looked at it yet. I don't know what that yet.
Bianca Belair is
number one.
Yes.
Wow, Bianca got number one. That's awesome. Let's see. Sports Beards in the chat too saying hated Crown Jewel except for Edge and Seth Rollins match. Yeah, I heard a bunch of fans say they want her old name. Yeah. I've seen a lot of people say they want her old name, and I thought that was the way they could do it. I don't know what he means though, dude. The Crown Jewel was just like packed with incredibly good matches. Xavier Woods and Finn Balor is a classic. Roman and Brock was fantastic, and Paul Heyman was phenomenal in that. I mean, there was like schmozzy stuff at the end, but it's like Brock and Roman, like, what?
Yeah.
And that was only the third match that they've ever had in the last like 5 years that they've been having stories with each other. So I think that's the way to go. And he goes, and yet Bianca didn't win, even though she was number one. I think it's actually good for Bianca's character. I think she gets a whole lot of fanfare behind her for being a legitimate underdog. When you're that good, it's hard to play the underdog. And they're doing a great job of getting fanfare behind her. So that's really cool that PWI made her number one. I was afraid they were going to go with like something basic.
Britt Baker. You were afraid they were going to go with Britt Baker. You were, yeah.
Well, Britt or Ruby or something. Somebody that like didn't quite make sense, but like had a solid year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they've done that a few times with their stuff where it's all like, you know, they're doing good right now, but when you look at the overall year, you're like, well, but really? You don't think someone else had a better year at all? Like there was one year they didn't give it to Bayley, and it was like easily the best year Bayley had, like just as far as like championships and major moments and stuff like that. But let me see. The other matches that were there, actually Goldberg and Bobby Lashley's match was better than the one they had before. It was solid. Yeah, I can't think of a match on there I thought was bad. They're all really good. But the big news, obviously, being the King and Queen, Becky retains, and Big E retained against Drew.
Good.
And I liked that. Yeah, it was great. It was great, and the crowd was really into it.
Real quick, I did pull up the PWI for the men. Actually, let me do. I can do PWI. So that's. So I pulled up the. There we go. So, top for PWI for men. Number one, guess.
Is it Kenny?
Yep.
Yeah.
2, Roman. Happy with that.
Is anyone going to actually try to make the argument that Kenny's having a better year than Roman? Like, is that really a discussion?
The people at PWI are. They have made it. Yeah. They are. I would say Roman has had a better year than Kenny in many, like, if nothing else, if you're going to just, because I don't think Kenny's matches, I don't think his character's been there. If nothing else, purely by how much Roman has improved year to year, he deserves it. Like, that's like where he was in 2020, where he was in 2019 versus now. Yeah, Roman. Number 3, Bobby Lashley, which is a surprise, but I really like because I think of the Hurt Business. That's really awesome. Yeah.
4, and he had a great championship run.
4, Drew McIntyre. I don't know if I agree with that one because I feel like he had a great 2020.
Yeah.
But I feel like the moment they got that title off him, they threw him down that card fast.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's definitely plummeted since he lost the title. Like, he was definitely top. And then the second fans came back, they're kind of like, all right, well, never mind.
Yeah. Number 5, Kota of Ushi. Haven't seen too much. I haven't heard much of him in New Japan. I haven't heard much bad, but when I've thought of New Japan, I've seen Evil, Tetsuya Naito way more. Shingo Tagaki.
Those are the ones that I've been hearing the most about.
Yeah. Number 6, Moxley. So I'm taking away, you got a big gap between AEW and AEW, and Moxley's been good, but
that's a good call.
I don't know. As I think about it, I don't think, and I'm not saying this to be shitty to AEW, I don't know of a lot of people I think who've done fantastically there where I'm excited about them. You know?
But I would say Miro had a better year at the tail end of this than Mox. Mox has just been kind of goofing off doing his own thing, which is fine. There's literally nothing wrong with that. Like, I actually love that he's kind of just doing the things he wants to do at this point, and I don't think that he cares about being in the top of the card type of a deal. He just wants to have the matches he wants to have with the people he wants to, and that's what they're doing. I think it's incredible. But it also makes you a little less impactful, which is also fine. So I feel like, yeah, Mox has been largely unimpactful this whole year with his tagging with Eddie Kingston and his consistent matches with Japanese talent that comes in for the one match and leaves that doesn't really move anything. You know what I mean? Like, it just is just kind of like a card on a match on the card. It's not like there's no story behind it other than, oh, here's the Japanese guy that wants to fight Moxley for no reason, but that's the match we're going to do. And it's always good. And it's always cool for Mox, but I wouldn't say it's largely impactful. I'd say Miro had a better year.
I'd say, I'd say, Jungle Boy had a better year. I'd say, I'd say beyond that, Hobbs, fantastic year.
Hobbs had a better year for sure.
Ricky Starks definitely should. He's mid card, but his work's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to go obscure, I'd say Flying Bryan, and you know what he's done in the ring and out. He's been stepping up. Let's see.
I mean, that's AEW alone, but I'd even say that as far as like outside of AEW, if we're looking at like MLW, Jacob Fatu and Hammerstone had better years than Mox.
Hammerstone for sure. Jacob Fatu. If we're gonna go to Impact, the Good Brothers, though right now really not fans of where they are right now because of all the Kenny shit, because it's just annoying. Christian Cage.
Yeah, he had a better
in
year.
every promotion, 100%.
But that's not just to like shit on Mox. I'm just saying that like by putting Mox that high, it does kind of undermine a lot of this other really incredible work these other guys are doing. And I don't even feel that Mox is trying for those kinds of spots. Not that I think any of them really are, but like no one I think really ultimately makes or breaks their egos by the PWI list. But it's just interesting to see Moxley that high when I feel like that he's kind of like finished his championship run and then just kind of like, all right, guys, I'm going to kind of fade into the back now for a bit.
Yeah.
Which I don't think there's a problem with that. I think it's actually pretty cool. But
100%.
Here he is getting top spots there. Let's see. I'm going to hit the chat real quick again. Sports Beard says that was good. The Finn Balor match was too. He liked. He goes, all right. I didn't hate Crown Jewel. I just wanted Roman to lose. Okay, well that's fair too. I was so torn on that one, and we'll talk about it later. But I was so torn between Roman and Brock. There was just so much I like about both characters that it's almost like I couldn't even get my fantasy booking mind around it on who I'd want to move forward. But I didn't want either story to stop, so it was kind of like.
Do you think they'll continue it to Survivor Series?
I think they should continue it to Mania.
I mean, everyone talks about the idea for Mania is Roman Rock.
But that's in Dallas.
Yeah.
I think if you're trying to fill a stadium in LA, you can hold off a year on that.
That is very fair.
And I think Roman's strong enough. He can get another 2 years out of this character, I feel. But 100%. At the same time, maybe you do go with Rock there, and maybe you go with Brock somewhere else. I was even thinking people might hate it, but what if Brock can't get the rematch because Roman's like, no, we're done with that, and Brock wins the Rumble? People would hate it, but that'd be kind of fucking cool if Brock came in to win the Rumble just so he could fucking force Roman into a match at Mania.
How about this? And I could see this extending out, working. Brock gets it Survivor Series or gets it at Rumble. Roman enters Rumble, wins Rumble. Because to me, the story
the other way.
Yeah, becomes Heyman in the middle of this, and it's very compelling. Brock by himself is really owning it. Like, I'd love to see Brock win it, Roman come back, and yeah, people might say they're focusing on talent, but if anything, we're seeing the other belt is getting moved around to different people. You know?
Yeah.
I'd love that. And then Roman could get it, hold it for a year, Rock.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. We'll see what they do. I'm excited about it either way. Brock, they did some sort of thing. It was like on social media, like Brock on his way out of Saudi Arabia said as soon as he sees Roman on SmackDown, he's going to tear him apart. And so like, oh. But we'll see. And then Sports Beard asking if I'm in a haunted castle. I'm in a haunted castle. I'm in the dive bar of the IWC. We're going to do a couple watch longs here.
Do you want me to real quick throw out some of the ones for the top 5 for women's.
Yeah, I want to hear what some of those were.
Top 5 are Bianca Belair. I agree with that. I'll give them that. I like that one.
Yeah, great year.
Utami Hayashishita from Stardom. Heard nothing about. Sure, fantastic talent, but I've heard nothing about. And I think, honestly, PWI, as much as I want to like it, like I think you got to respect people's exposure. 3, Deonna Purrazzo.
What the fuck just happened? Deonna Purrazzo. I also I don't remember either of them winning an ESPY. What do you call that? We just got hit hard. An ESPY. We're getting hit with a Hot Take Hockey Gang raid. We just got raided, guys. This is awesome. Dude, thank you guys for coming through. Cheers to you. We're just talking wrestling. If you like wrestling. But yeah, so for that, I mean, and I'm talking shit, obviously, but like the idea that Sasha and Bianca did that together, and Sasha's so much further down the list. Where did she even make it top 5 at all?
No.
Yeah.
4, Britt Baker. 5, Thunder Rosa.
Jesus Christ.
Right. Knew it was gonna piss you off.
All right, well, I mean, Thunder Rosa did have a pretty solid year, although they've definitely gone out of their way over there to keep her from having too good of a year.
Thunder Rosa congratulated Zelena. That was cool.
Yeah, Thunder Rosa congratulated Zelena about the Queen Crown thing, but that's good. That's good. And someone says Banks is done. Yeah, they're laughing at me for not knowing what's happening. All of a sudden, I looked at the chat and it was just like, blah, 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 blah. Also, anybody who's watching or listening on any of these things, if you guys are into hockey, Hot Take Hockey that's the YouTube show to go check out. That's the one.
Oh yeah.
But well, Clem, is there anything else, or did you want to just get into watching some of these matches?
Oh wait, I got a top 10.
Okay.
6, Sasha Banks.
There you go.
7, Siri, Stardom. Okay. 8, Io Shirai, NXT. That one I kind of question. Io Shirai is amazing, I get it, but they haven't been doing a lot. They've been in kind of weird roles. They have elevated the women's tag division, I get that, but then you could also argue other people ahead of them. Like, okay, shit. I mean the NXT women's tag division. 9, Tam Nakano from Stardom. And 10, Raquel Gonzalez. And I don't know how I feel about that one, because Raquel's been a decent champion, but I feel so much of Raquel as a champion has been defined by Dakota Kai. Yeah. And I feel Dakota Kai has done so much more this year in the ring and out. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. I feel like Carmella should be definitely in that top 5, top 10 area. She's had an incredible year. But yeah, let's see in the chat a little bit. What's going on? Says, how are you? We're doing good. It says Undertaker the GOAT. Don't at me. I mean, it's hard to argue that one. I don't know. Like sometimes, actually, most of the time that we have like conversations about who's the greatest, one of the first things we do is like, all right, if you don't include Undertaker, what would be? Because it's like just not fair to have him in the conversation. Someone else says Kane. He also says Kane is the GOAT as well. Man, Kane scared the shit out of me as a kid, just enough. But then he also said Bianca is the best one. Bianca's so good, and this match, the triple threat on Crown Jewel, man, that's one that I would recommend actually seeking out if you find yourself with the time, because the three of them work together so incredible. Becky, Sasha, and Bianca. There was little moments here and there where they were working together a little too much, but they also made it so seamless that it just fucking worked, man. Yeah, it was fantastic. And I don't mind Becky keep winning. Becky can be the champ forever, man. It doesn't bother me one bit. Not one bit. Where was Carmella on the PWI?
Carmella, I only get to the top 10. It's hard to actually find the women's.
Really? Okay. Well, I mean, I think she should have been top 10 for sure. She made a lot of this stuff. Her work even with Bayley, her work with Bianca, that was all great, man. I do think Carmella is one of the most underrated. People don't give her a shot.
Yes.
I think. And I think also people, because feel like it's so weird that the IWC, the Internet Wrestling Community, can be so supportive of women's wrestling in general, but also not acknowledge the growth of specific women for whatever reason. Like, people still try to say she's not good at promos or that she's clunky in the ring, and that's just flat out not true. Hasn't been true for almost 2 years.
She works her ass off.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, if she's not top 10, I'm not happy about it either way. Whatever you say is just going to make me more mad. So,
Let's see here.
I don't think I had anything else for news at all. Did you have any other news?
Nope.
All right.
No.
Well, what's up?
Hacksaw's better. Yay.
That's what we started with.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Oh, yeah.
all right. Well, circle back to the hacksaw. I am going to throw it out there real quick. New Wave Coffee is still our coffee. As it goes. New Wave Flow State Coffee. It's specialty grade coffee with L-theanine and raw cacao for productivity and creativity. Gives you better energy, focus, and mood than a regular cup of coffee, while decreasing negative side effects like anxiety and blood pressure. Guys, I really enjoy this coffee. I specifically asked if there was something we could do to put them over, if they minded, and they said not only do they not mind, but they were going to sponsor us and give us a promo code. And that promo code is CHEERS. If you go to newwave.co, NOOWAVE.co, and put in promo code CHEERS, you get 10% off. If they have any sales going on, you'll get an additional 10% on top of that sale.
Hell yeah.
So they let it be a stacking promo code, which I thought was really cool. So you want to get into it? Want to watch some matches?
Let's do it.
You know what? Before we do, let's actually talk a little bit about AEW. Daniel Bryan versus Minoro Suzuki. It happened this week. I watched it. You watched it. What was your overall feeling after having seen these guys wrestle other people for so many years? Now they're finally in the ring together after a long time. Because they'd wrestled a long time ago in Japan, I think, once.
It was really cool. It was. I don't know if it ever could live up to the hype you built it up for it's supposed to be, but I was a big fan of it. I thought it was a great match. I thought if more. I'm not saying this to shit on AEW again, but if you saw more matches with the seriousness, you know, it'd make me a lot happier because I love what this was.
Okay.
I don't think it should have been the pre-show free thing. It should have been on it, you know?
Yeah. That one was weird to me. The fact it wasn't on the show, it was on YouTube. I mean, for me, I loved it because I ended up watching the match like 4 days later. Because I was like, sweet, I'll just watch it later. But yeah, I thought the fact it wasn't on the show in and of itself was weird. I don't know, man. Part of it, I felt like the match kept resetting. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like every few minutes or so, they were both back to, like, if you want to take it to video game terms, they were back to, like, full health all of a sudden. Like, every like 10 minutes or so. I felt like the match restarted like 3 or 4 times where they're doing stuff, they're selling stuff, and then all of a sudden they just decide, all right, let's start over, and they weren't selling anything. And then they're going back to just standing there trading strikes, which, you know, I didn't hate it. I thought it was pretty good, but it also didn't end up being, it didn't blow me away like I was hoping it would, like I was expecting by the idea of these two guys working together. It kind of almost made me feel, well, for one, because there's been speculation that Suzuki might be on like a final run. That Suzuki might be getting ready to retire, and this is one of his like final goes. It also kind of reminded me of like when I saw Bob Dylan live, where I was like, well, I'm glad I saw Bob Dylan live, but it's definitely not the Bob Dylan that I've been like listening to the CDs of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, did it seem to you at all like Suzuki wasn't the Suzuki that we've been watching for a while? Like there was a little bit less there, or maybe off a step? Or maybe the guys in the ring with him are trying to like protect him so much. You know what I mean? Maybe they're coddling him a little.
I wonder if it's that. I wonder if, I don't know if I think it was off a step. As much as I feel like maybe we're trying to do this best hits kind of thing. You get what I mean? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay. Sorry, I'll jump back in. So I don't know if it was that maybe they were off a step as much as maybe this is that final run, like you said, final run tour, and we got to get it in, and
Yeah.
they're not going to try and build story. But what is off is this match was great. I feel like the other matches so far I've seen in his US tour have been so focused on the spots, but without the context.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you gave like if New Japan or Noah gave the ability for somebody to show a promo package of who he is before he showed up, damn, you'd be excited. You know what I mean?
Yes.
He comes in, you're like, who's this 5'7" old guy? I mean, why is everyone scared? Yeah, and then you could understand why this is something amazing a bit more.
Yeah. Well, but I don't know, because I feel like that when you introduced me to him, I had no backstory. Like, he was just on a card that you had me watch the whole show of, and I remember thinking he stood out without knowing the story at all.
Mm-hmm.
This just didn't end up being a match that if someone said, hey, what's a good Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson or a good Suzuki match, this match wouldn't come to mind.
Yes. No. I think it's an interesting, I would say, if I were to think of a interesting AEW match, I'd say this, because maybe in a sense we could say that AEW is defined by being the greatest hit station of wrestling.
Yeah.
It may not, it's funny, Access TV, which is where Impact played for the longest time.
Yeah.
Almost all their content other than when it's wrestling is like the Eagles live, these weird live concert shows.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of what AEW is it's like, hey, we got this, let's try it, and then you get opening acts. Maybe they can get past that, but right now they're doing that, and I'm not going to knock it because WWE does it too. I will say, as a positive, we do see more people in the ring and a bigger diversity of people, but it doesn't ultimately build as much as I feel it could. I want it to do more.
Yeah. I'm switching over my mic just because I've been having issues with a few things here.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jeremiah in the chat got some good HTH raid action, I see. Yeah, those guys. Ahmed coming through. Andrew. I'm not going to ruin that guy's last name.
Good job.
I thought I could get close, and then I just realized if I'm not dead on this, I'm just going to destroy it, and that's just not fair. But yeah. But I did like the match. I thought it was also really stood out in the AEW world, where, like you said, it feels like a lot of stuff kind of comes off as best of every time. But this one didn't feel that way. It also felt much slower than a lot of their other matches, which, if you've watched other matches leading into it, can be really strange. But I just like how the crowd was way into it. I just wasn't. I didn't love it as much as I wanted to, man. I was a little bummed by that, but it's no big deal. No big deal at all. And then on NXT, let's just run through that just a little bit. I'll be honest, man. All right, can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, cool. Dude, so Carmelo Hayes is the new North American champion. He's got his buddy there who's a little bit goofy and I think still needs a lot of work. And Gargano comes out to like challenge this whole thing, and everyone suddenly starts becoming cartoonish. Did you notice that at all in the opening segment?
Yeah, I can get that. Like it. I thought it started great. I thought Carmelo Hayes, standing up for himself as he did, fantastic. I think it then turned into a silly segment. Yeah. I was even excited when Johnny came out for a bit. I was like, okay, this could be different.
Right. Because he had a bit of a tone in his voice where I was like, oh, is he going to turn the serious on?
And it wasn't too bad, like, until the very end. I feel like, honestly, when
Dexter showed up?
Dexter, not even when he showed up. When he showed up, I wasn't too mad at it, because we see pop-ins and stuff like that. It was I love Dexter in certain ways. I feel like he works best by himself, because when you pair him with other people, he brings a level of silliness that hurts both of them. Like, I still like my favorite Dexter thing is still that fucking battle royal where he just stood in the corner for like 10 goddamn minutes, just not moving. Like that's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, it was creepy.
Little things here and there are good, but in this it went on way long.
Yeah, and I felt like everyone felt like, oh, now that Johnny's out here, we got to show that we're as funny as Johnny, and started doing cartoonish stuff. Like even the way Carmelo and his partner, I think it's Trick. The way they even like looked around to see Dexter behind them was like on a dot cartoonish, and I don't know, man, it just really bummed me out to see a good group of guys. I just don't appreciate his humor, and I don't know that he's bringing much, so I don't know. I don't love it. I did like the Joe Gacy stuff with Harland. They're getting real serial killery in there. I don't know. And then they're going to do the wheel on Halloween Havoc. So I'm kind of excited about that. I actually really like the LA Knight match.
Yeah, the LA Knight match was really good. The build, I'm excited for it. I think what they're doing with LA Knight is a great way to build up and keep a dude interesting away from titles.
Yes. Yeah.
He doesn't need to be in a title hunt. He just needs to exist on the brand, and he does a good job.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So I did like the show overall, but I was having a hard time getting into it when the whole thing started with Gargano, and I just wasn't into it. So, but that was me. But if you want, we can watch some matches real quick. Did you want to start with the Suzuki match, or did you want to start with the Dana Bryan match?
Your call. I'll give it to you. Host choice.
Yeah. I'm trying to be fair. Let's start with the Roman and Daniel Bryan match.
Okay.
Because we've seen and talked about it a couple of times now. I talked about it with Daniel Bryan and Kenny. I talked about it with Daniel Bryan and Suzuki, where people are going, oh, this is the greatest match of all time. That was like Daniel Bryan's first ever 5-star match or some bullshit. And it's like, are you kidding me? Like, I brought up this match several times saying, like, if you liked either of those matches, you should probably see this match, because this is the last thing I saw him do, and now I'm watching this other stuff. Like, this is not as good as I know he can be. You know what I mean? So let's start with that one. Are you ready? We have it on. It is Smackdown, April 30th, 2021. We're at the 56-minute and 27-second mark. Right there, you can see the Precision? No, that's not Precision. Who's the auto company? Progressive Auto Car. You can see Daniel Bryan drawing of a finger on the side. And then we'll go ahead and... Are you ready, Klump?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I'm going to 3, 2, 1, play. There we go. It says home and Moto, Progressive. See, I called it Progressive.
Why does yours have ads? Mine doesn't.
No, mine was the ad on SmackDown. It was a little thing. Now I'm seeing Daniel Bryan in the corner of the ring. What are you seeing?
I'm seeing Daniel Bryan highlight from WrestleMania.
Really?
Yeah.
Are we on the wrong minutes? I think I'm on 58. I was on 58. I'm 2 minutes ahead of you. Because you're seeing the highlight thing. So I'm going to pause it. I'm going to pause it here with Roman.
What time?
59:02. Let's see. Sports Beard is in the chat, though. He does say Bryan Danielson has to be limited by his physical stuff, etc. Correct? I don't know, man. I mean, that's what I'm kind of saying here is I think people are concerned about his safety just because of the nature of him having the concussions, coming back the way that he did. There's always going to be that, concern. I think he's fine, judging by some of the bumps I see him take. But also, he's not more limited now than he was in April. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't even a year apart. This is several months apart. So it's not like, hey, you can have this banger of a match for SmackDown, but now that you're in AEW, you better calm it down a notch. Like, just doesn't kind of add up to me. Klump, where you at?
Yeah. 59:02. Let's start.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play. Yep, got head of the table.
Roman.
Yep. just the pageantry of it all, dude. I do like Daniel Bryan's new music though, in AEW.
I do, yeah.
I dig it. It's kind of
I
funny
think it's
too.
best song they've done, other than like I think Malachi Black's thing is amazing.
His is really good.
It sounds like there's a drone metal band I love called The Body. It sounds like their stuff, and it's great and like literally I can't recommend the most terrifying albums you'll ever listen to.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think they made some stuff for him for WWE too that he was supposed to use that just didn't get around to being able to use before he got let go.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Sports Beer says head of the table blows, and he says Adam Cole's music in AEW is lit. I don't know if you're making fun of me. I do not like Adam Cole's music at all. I liked. Oh, I forgot they used to have that 8K camera. They got to bring that back.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Mox's songs before he got Wild Thing. I hate it now.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think it was more creative. It's a sense in what's funny is he's from. I think it's trying to connect him with. I always think of Major League, Charlie Sheen's character, but I'm like, but he's from Cleveland.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Yeah, I don't get it or particularly like it. I don't like when they get all those songs from the guys when they had them on the indies and license them. I know that people think that, because I heard some people saying though, like how cool it is because like it shows they have the money to license the music. But I also feel like that
it doesn't show the creativity of creating something new for someone.
That, but also I don't think it shows that necessarily. Like if you go back and watch old ECW, they were playing Metallica and Nirvana and stuff, and they did not get the rights to do that. They just did it. And if you go to any indie show, everyone comes out to some sort of radio hit of some kind. And they don't have the licensing to it. So for me, I feel like it really makes it look more Bush League.
Mm-hmm.
I know that they're on national TV, so therefore you have to actually spend the money to do it. But it feels the same when I'm in the VFW and someone plays Wild Thing and comes out, and you know that, like, well, it's not licensed, but no, who's going to stop us? You know what I mean? Like, it just gives me that air of super indie wrestling, which is maybe what they're going for, but I don't like it as much. I don't think it's as clean.
I mean, I think a great talent of CFOS and Jim Johnson was creating a feeling where
yes,
you associate it with people you cared about and you liked, but the wrestler it was inextricably linked. There are songs that I think major artists have done and connected that I think do. Yeah, this was great. Like
CM Punk's worked.
Yeah, I don't think Cult of Personality is. I preferred the song he had by Killswitch Engage, which I hate Killswitch Engage, but I love that song. Like when he came into the metal song, or Metalingus.
I felt like they both worked for him. Yeah, I thought they were both good. Even the Edge's song, I think was not Edge. Jeff Hardy. I think his song was an actual song. Who's the other one I was just thinking of? Ruby Soho.
Yeah.
Love that she comes out to Ruby Soho. You know what I mean? But I don't think that every radio hit matches someone that way that well. And I do think, like you said, Jim Johnston set a precedent of making music that somehow felt like the wrestler when they came out.
Yes.
Like Samoa Joe's music sounds like it's Samoa Joe.
Well, I was about to say, like, I loved that he gave an interesting interview about that, where he said he wanted. They asked him what he liked music wise, and he said he liked Simon Says by Pharoah Monch is what he specifically cited.
Yeah,
and that's a really cool hip hop song where they use the Godzilla coming in that da da da.
Yeah.
So without using that sample and changing it up to sound close to it, they made a Samoa Joe song that is Samoa Joe, makes you think of these things, and it just is him perfectly.
Yeah, it's so dope. Let's see. Sports Beards in the chat goes, except Major League is Cleveland Indians, so why is that weird? Because of what you said about Mox. Moxley's from Cincinnati, isn't
Cincinnati. He? Yes.
Yeah. That's why he's saying it's weird. It makes you think of Cleveland Indians, and he's a Cincinnati guy, and he's always talking about being from Cincinnati. And then also he says, like, the broken glass, as far as, like, music that attaches to someone. Yeah, Stone Cold's music sounds like Stone Cold, man.
Yeah, all day long.
Yeah, but Wild Thing, the fuck. All right, the match is definitely undergoing at this point. I love that Daniel Bryan was starting this off wearing his Yes T-shirt, because I've noticed in AEW ever since he's shown up that he has not worn a single AEW T-shirt, even one of his own, which makes me think, because by this era, WWE, all of Daniel Bryan's shirts were like recyclable and biodegradable, and he made sure they were like environmentally friendly. And I wonder if in AEW that's just not the case, and so he's just not sporting it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you guys are welcome to sell them, but I got my white T-shirt that I'll just wear.
I agree with that. As I've, I don't think there's any reason for him to not wear his own gear. I mean, but then again, I will say this, in AEW, not a lot of people wear their merch, period.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, Kingston might be... No, Kingston usually wears like a BLM shirt, which I think is awesome. The Young Bucks are hype beasts and wear hype beast shit. Kenny wears the dumbest shit out there. Adam Cole wears a leather jacket to make his shoulders look bigger. Yeah, Cody wears a suit.
Yeah. But, so, let's get back to the match real quick. I'm loving that this feels like a really high-paced match, because it feels like Daniel Bryan's bringing it to Roman, and Roman keeps, like, having to do some... Yeah. He has to power him down in some way. But Roman's selling the arm because Daniel Bryan's weakening him up. You know what I mean?
Well, it's a good way. Both of them are it's in that it really juxtaposes them.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Bryan is not going to compete on strength. Roman has to be stronger, but it's a way of also not having it be squash, not having it be Roman having power. I'll say this about Roman now, and I think this match makes me think of it. The biggest thing that Roman's done well in his role as this.
Ooh, look at the way he's doing his headlock.
Oh, yeah.
Just forcing his whole weight down on the headlock makes it look like it's impossible to breathe there. Like, he made a headlock look impressive.
Hell yeah. But you used to say Roman, whenever he was in a match as a face, he'd win, but he barely won.
Yeah.
Roman has really come into his power.
Yeah.
Like, dude's 6'4", he's 260. Quit acting like he's getting his ass beat by everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And you know what I like about this, too? It does feel like slow and methodical, but it also feels like a bunch of wrestling is happening. They're doing moves and stuff. I only bring that up because it was something I was noticing with the Kenny match. Daniel Bryan and Kenny spent a lot of time staring at each other, not doing stuff, trading chops, and then kind of not doing anything else. And so when you see this, it's an exciting story that these guys are telling. And I liked it the way that, like right there, Roman being disrespectful to Daniel Bryan and then being indignant that he didn't get the lazy pin. You know what I mean? Look at Daniel Bryan. Look at Daniel Bryan's face. Just selling like, fuck.
Roman questioning, why? What are you doing? Really? You're going to keep going?
Exactly. And Roman's kind of like, why are you kicking out? Why don't you just let me win? Why do you want to get beat up? You know? Because Roman's also got this attitude of like, dude, it's just a matter of time. It's like, this can't be fun for you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Bryan struggling.
The way Daniel sold that fall, like he didn't hit the mat, but he made it look like it, and it's just so good.
Yeah, hitting the mat too, like with his fist, like frustrated that he's getting knocked out.
Mm-hmm. And again, here, Roman has the upper hand. Daniel Bryan's eking it out, but it's not this like I'm gonna. Ooh. He never like seems utterly challenged.
Yeah, 100%. And then right there, Roman trying to power to Daniel Bryan, so he falls to his ass to get the toe hold on him, so he can then knock Roman over with his own momentum. The timing on that was just perfect. Oh my God. And then Roman just... Daniel Bryan went for the Hurricane Rana off the top. Roman just fucking stopped him. Just held his momentum.
That power bomb.
Yeah. Yeah. And Roman's like, the fuck? Yeah. Oh, look at that. Referee counting because they're on the outside like they shouldn't be out there.
Hey, quit calling out rules.
This is the Daniel Bryan and Roman one. But I mean, already to me, this match is like, I don't even know if it's halfway through or not, but this match is only a few minutes in realistically. Mm-hmm. And already to me, I'm more invested and feel like I've seen more of a fight than I did in the entire Kenny Omega one. The Omega one I thought had a really fantastic last 2 minutes. Like last minute and a half to 2 minutes was great. But I felt like it kind of came out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like nothing was happening. All of a sudden it was like in the last 2 minutes, like, oh, we should actually try and win this match all of a sudden. This feels like a fight where both dudes are trying to end this match. You know what I mean?
I'll agree with that. Like this Kenny versus Bryan was even frustrating compared to their last bout that everyone thinks about when they were in the indies, because there was a lot of silliness and there was a lot of spots, but there was a lot of working. That most recent match, it was just a lot of like setting up spots. Like, okay, this is really gonna work out. Oof. But with no background, it felt like, well, we got to have these 10 things, but how are we gonna get there? Whereas this feels like, okay, just do good things and we'll make it work.
Yeah, and it feels like a back and forth, but not like a back and forth. It feels like people trying to outwit each other, trying to outmatch each other with what they can, finding an advantage and taking it. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like, all right, let's just stand here and trade chops.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, what an awesome slam.
Well, and even in the use of moves, like Bryan, like this is something in AEW I really struggle with, and WWE does it a lot too. I'm really tired of the overuse of, I'm a smaller guy, let me pick you up and hold you for a second.
Yeah.
It's amazing when somebody does it once in their career, once in a long time, once in 5 years, like, oh shit, he did that. But when you see somebody lift somebody up, like if Bryan held up Roman in like a fireman's carry, you're like, the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
But doing that falling way suplex?
Yeah, figuring out a way to use leverage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can get him off balance enough to where I can force him down harder. And then the fact that Daniel Bryan even sold the fall from him. Like, fuck, it took a lot out of him.
So, I was watching some old RVD matches, and you mentioned something, it makes me think of that. Ooh. RVD, whenever he did a 5-star frog splash.
Yeah.
What I always thought his frog splash was better than everyone else, even Eddie's.
Yeah.
Was because he sold how it hurt him.
Oh, yeah.
He'd always roll out and hold his stomach, which is like, I like that because it makes it like mean something.
Yes.
You know, and we see so many frog splashes, like I don't see anyone ever giving a shit.
Oof. That was
good
cool.
Kick there. Yeah.
Yeah, great timing on that too. The other thing is in the Kenny match, dude, they only went for like 4 pinfalls. Each person only did 4 pinfall attempts. So it's like,
yeah.
And most of that happened in the end. It's kind of like, I love in matches early on when both people are trying to win. Like, I want to see a dozen pinfall attempts, you know? Because I want to see them try and get a victory somehow. This is awesome, dude. And Daniel Bryan works with bigger people so well.
Yes.
Oh, look at that. Roman looking pissed. Ooh. What an awesome throwaway slam. Belly to belly, really.
Yeah.
Roman getting mad because every time he gets hurt a little bit more, he just gets indignant. Oh.
That is the best person to land in front of.
Yeah. Yeah. She was selling.
Old lady.
Yeah.
Oh!
The flying headbutt.
I don't like that. And I love everything Bryan does, but the way he lands on that, and he's not really selling the head. And it's not just him. Everyone does it, and I don't get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I did like that he placed it on the shoulder, though. Because he's been attacking Roman's shoulder. So to do a flying headbutt that was to the shoulder, I loved. because it actually made sense why they're not connecting their heads, because everyone else is trying to make it look like it's a headbutt to headbutt. He's like, no, I'm going to use my head to weaken his shoulder even more. Superman punch, make Daniel Bryan dizzy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ooh, look at that. Roman's trying to crawl over, and then it tweaks his shoulder because it's been weakened. The way he keeps shaking his hand.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I like that as a pull because he flips him, puts him on his shoulder and back, which is a great thing because he can't lift that shoulder up if it's hurt.
Yes.
I do feel like a lot of times when we do the leg up, and I get it's hard to pace it, which is why I imagine that it's always like this. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of struggle with it.
It's too fast, I think, is the problem.
Yeah, it feels like, dude, you're there. Like, I'd rather see somebody trying kind of feebly to kick out, and then they land it on there somehow.
Exactly. Like, I think that on that one, instead of going 1-2 and then putting the foot over there real quick, it feels like a kick out. It feels like you didn't save the energy that you are acting like you saved. It should be on the 1, their leg starts to go up, and on the 2, it just starts to slowly come down, and then it hits the rope right before the 3, and then go, oh, he got his foot on the rope, because he's trying from the beginning. He should be trying the whole time, just doing it slow, like, fuck. Sportsbeards in the chat says, finally got the T-Town shirt today. Actually, I saw over at my friend's house yesterday, he got it in as well, so I took a picture of it to see what it looks like in person. It actually came out really good, dude. I really like it. So I'm glad he got his. You guys can get your T-Town T-shirts at prowrestlingtees.com/wrestlingontherocks. Ooh, what a spear. Daniel Bryan resilient as all hell. And the thing is, it's also believable because of the kinds of matches we've seen Daniel Bryan have with big badass guys.
Yeah.
So you can really get lost in it and think, well, it's possible. I mean, Daniel Bryan beat Triple H, Batista, and Randy Orton all in one night. Like, why couldn't he figure out a way to beat a Roman? You know what I mean?
Well, and I think in watching this with AEW, and in part size, but also in their structure of their matches, they need to give him spots where he can truly work on people.
Mm-hmm. If
you're not doing that, you don't see the skill. And again, it's another example of name value over substance.
Mm-hmm.
He is Daniel Bryan is the Bret Hart of today.
Yeah.
I would argue in some ways he might be better than Bret Hart, and the reason being his longevity of career.
Mm. Check this out.
Oh yeah, but
just the murderous guillotine.
Mm-hmm. But and the way Roman's selling like the struggle of it, but
yeah,
because of how Bryan works, you can believe I can do anything with anyone because in this match it's him fighting tooth and nail against someone clearly bigger than him and finding his spots. It's not a strength thing. It's not anything fake. It all seemingly works.
Yeah. And he's just twisting them up. Mm-hmm. And I think this is a perfect example of when people talk about the psychology of matches, that there's a psychology of why you do a move in the order you're doing it. Guys like Bully have said even like, hey, if you want to do a 4,050 splash, do it. He goes, but it better make sense why you're doing it. And I think a lot of people don't understand what that means. Like, what do you mean make sense of jumping off the top? You're just trying to win, so every move makes sense. You know what I mean? But I think this kind of shows, based off even what you were just saying, the difference between just doing all your moves in a particular order and doing all of these moves in this specific order. You know what I mean? They're working themselves to a thing. They're finding an opportunity and twisting them up into that. It's not, hey, I want to get to my move of this, so we're going to move this way. It's, well, if you were like this, I would probably try to do this. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's what makes it come out like a combat as opposed to a dance. Ooh.
There's ways to do it as a dance, but it really, AEW to me feels like it's breakdancing versus ballroom dancing, or you know what I mean? You need to you're focusing on spots, but you need to have transitions that work to it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just continuously okay, we got to get here. Make your struggles work. Plan out your batches better so that you can figure, okay, I'm going to go here at this point to get here, or have ring awareness of each other. Hey, I'm going to try and get in this area. You got to spot me when it's happening. This feels like that.
Yeah.
In AEW at times, imagine how amazing the spots would be if everything just matched up.
Yeah, if it just made sense. If you can do all that stuff, amazing. But if you can give the why for all that stuff, that's when it becomes the art. Like, this match is incredible, dude. This looks like two people fucking fighting. You know what I mean?
It feels desperate on both sides.
Yes.
Like, Roman's struggling because he's realizing his strength's not working. And Daniel's like, I can only go so long. He is going to wear me down if I don't do something.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. And then he just finally passes out. He's just dead now. Coach is coming through the chat, says, hair looks great, Marsh. I appreciate that. I do have pretty good hair. So that's it. That's how it ends. Daniel Bryan just lays there like, fuck. But there was a number of times in there, especially when Daniel Bryan got the yes lock on, that Roman made it look and feel like he might not be able to get out of this.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And even the way he's moving after the match, like, this sucks. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's amazing. So that was the first time you got to see that match, right?
Oh yeah. No, the way Bryan's looking up at him, it's like, I'm down, but I'm aware.
Yeah.
And it's a great.
Ooh. Did you see that? Roman went to lift up the Universal title with the worked shoulder and kind of dropped it, moved it over to a different hand. Like, his arm, he's still selling the shoulder so bad. Like, I don't even have enough strength to lift up the title belt. Oh, what a perfect looking kick there.
Well, and the other thing too, like, in working a spot like the shoulder, the way they did, it's kind of like a shoulder for most people, and they're not really hitting the shoulder, they're hitting the meat around it.
Yeah.
Is such a, you can do things and legit hit them, and it'll hurt like a motherfucker, but
yeah,
it's just like a chop.
Yeah.
It's gonna hurt, but it's not gonna hurt you.
Yeah. They even just replayed it to the flying knee that Bryan did to the shoulder. The way that's one of the things I loved about this match specifically, is that Bryan's going to be working the shoulder because he wants to get him to submit. He wants to get him to tap to the yes lock, and that's a shoulder-based move. The way he starts doing all of his signature moves, but aiming it at the shoulder. So it's like, it's a flying knee, but instead of to the head, it's to the shoulder. It's a flying headbutt. Instead of to the head, it's to the shoulder. You know what I mean? It's the running kicks, but it's to the shoulder, not the chest or the gut. You know what I mean? Like, it was a way of moving all of his signature moves around to make sense of this attack to weaken him. It was incredible.
Yeah.
Now this is all the after stuff with Cesaro.
Oh.
Yeah.
This part upsets me because, God, I thought they could have. I mean, Roman's been so good, but I do want Cesaro to have his moment.
Yeah, I think Cesaro's got to go to Raw for that, to be honest, because I don't think you can be on the same show as Roman and fairly make the claim that you deserve to be champion more. I just don't know if anyone has that ability.
Yeah.
You know? I'll go ahead and stop it now. So, that was your first time watching that match, Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan. What'd you think?
Loved it. Good match. Thought the way that they were communicating with each other, the way they were working, it felt like a fight because of that. And yes, there were spots and moments, but they were so transitioned together that I don't think of, oh yeah, that was a cool thing. I think of, that was a great ass match.
Right. Yeah. That's a really good point. At the end of the match, you don't think, remember that spot? How cool was this move? You just walk away from it going like, God, what a fucking match. What a fight, you know? Since I talk a lot of shit, if you had to compare that one to the Omega match with him, which one would you say was a better match?
This, 100%.
Yeah. All right. I just wanted to.
Thank you for making that easy.
I just wanted to make that one easy. But because this is what I mean when I was like, this is the last thing I saw Daniel Bryan do. Fucking beautiful work here. This is incredible. And then the next thing I see him do was that Omega match. And I was like, oh, this didn't feel the same way. You know what I mean? I get that the AEW crowd has been avidly avoiding other wrestling for so long that they're like, oh, this is the greatest match ever. But the idea that this match against Roman did not get the same accolades, regardless of how much I think the accolades are retarded anyway, just awful, just stupid. Such an opinion. But the fact that there's like just this conversation of, oh, the Omega match was the match, and I was like, this is the last one he did before that, and I don't think you guys saw it. Like, you know.
Yeah.
All right. Let me go to in the thing, Lucky Schmidt's cherry eggplant. I like that. Let's see. Sports Beards in there says, "Oh, Ref Marsh shitting on AEW. He just guided you. To better shit. Greatest match for AEW." Yeah.
Yeah, that's not saying much.
What does that mean? But whatever. All right. So the other match that we're gonna watch is Timothy Thatcher versus Minoro Suzuki, and we picked this one. You picked this one, and I thought it sounds awesome for one, because Thatcher is a badass, and I miss him being on my TV. I don't know what he's been doing in NXT. Like, I didn't even feel like they properly. Like, am I wrong? Did they properly break up Thatcher and Ciampa, or did Ciampa just start doing stuff on his own all of a sudden?
I don't know. I feel like they want to put that title on Ciampa, and they're trying to build a story with him and Braun, but we've never got a great explanation for what's happened with Timothy.
Yeah. Like,
is he really hurt? It made it feel like kayfabe hurt, but
yeah, that could be.
I miss the dude. The dude's scary as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. No, me too. But all right. So, you know what? I'm gonna pull it up over here.
What's the next match?
Timothy Thatcher versus Minoro Suzuki.
Mm-hmm.
Suzuki who we're seeing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you tell everyone?
Well, I've mentioned it on a few of them, but oh my god, I'm having such a hard time with this. Oh, here we go. I'm gonna pull it up this way. Yeah, we are going to. Yeah, producer's never seen Suzuki wrestle at all, and I mean, you're new to Suzuki. Let's see, Tim
Thatcher v. Minoro Suzuki from Over the Top Wrestling.
There's got to be a better way to do this. Yeah, so if you guys go to the channel, is Over the Top Wrestling. It is Tim Thatcher versus Minoro Suzuki. Oh, there it is. If you look up Tim Thatcher, it just comes right up, dude. Here we go. Oh, it's starting for me. So I'm on the 1 second. I just paused it. So if anybody else is getting ready, let's see. Here we go. Ref Marsh is so sly on how to guide the IWC. Did you hear Pat complaining about how shitty the IWC had been to him? No. That's awesome. I want to see that clip. Send me the clip of him talking about it. But I was really on board with the hashtag Pat was right stuff. When he was also doing the hashtag Adam Cole is a scumbag, I was right on board with those because I agree 100%. Klump, you ready? You got the
Let's do it.
Suzuki up? Oh, hold on. I just clicked away a few things. I'm not great at this. Hold on. I'm producing on my own. Here we go. Well, I'm doing more than is typically. I mean, well. All right, Klump, you ready?
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
All right. It said Scrapper Mania in the back there.
Little bit of an intro. As far as I recall, it's not super long, so we're good there.
Yeah, we'll see. Oh, Mustache Mountain, dude.
Yeah. A few different people, you know. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's jump into this.
Oh, Over the Top Wrestling. I know exactly who that is. I bet you I know some people in the crowd. I bet you I could point them out because Yeah, I had a few buddies. I got a buddy out in Ireland who was going to all the over-the-top stuff.
Hell yeah.
He sent me pictures when Adam Cole did his farewell. And he was all like, this guy's going to change the game. And I was like, oh, that sounds great. And then when he showed up, I was like, I think we play different games.
Oh, real quick, and I know you're not listening to it, but you should. So, Timothy Thatcher's theme is Vork's number 9.
Really?
Walter's theme, which is great. Because his gimmick in the Indies was the ring comp, the ring general.
Yeah. Well, so Thatcher... Well, I thought Thatcher was with them. He was part of Ring Comp.
Mm-hmm.
He was the ring general, though, not Walter?
He was with them.
He was just with them, okay.
Yeah. But okay, there we go. Scary Thatcher.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm listening to it now. I put on. Oh my god. And that's also one of those ones that's just so perfect for Walter that I'm glad that WWE's like, yeah, that's what we're using. You know what I mean?
Well, if they did anything else, I mean, it's a free license.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a
right.
150-year-old thing.
That's a good point. when you say it like that, you can't exactly copyright 150-year-old stuff, dude. All right, well, it's kind of right. Yeah, I want to see this intro to Minoro Suzuki because apparently AEW has not done it right once.
It's such a good song.
Yeah. It's pretty good. Look at that dumpy ref. Could be me. I could be a dumpy ref one day. Slow playing it. I like they're still not even out yet. Getting people all hyped. Dude, and Thatcher looks great there. Oh.
It looks so good and frightening.
Yeah. Suzuki coming out. This is going to be producer ladies' first shot at watching Suzuki.
How long ago was it?
Let me look. That's a really good question, though. When did this come out? Looks like September 5th, 2019. So it was only a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So this was probably right before Thatcher got signed.
Yeah. It makes sense. It's their 4th anniversary show. It might have been the end of it for him. But Thatcher has just, like, that ring presence. Like, he doesn't... Him and Suzuki both, and why I love this match and why it shows it, they both have a presence getting into the ring without even touching each other that I think so many people could only dream of having. They both look frightening as fuck. They both look intimidating.
Yeah, they come with a big fight feel to them.
Yes. And both are big. Thatcher's 6 foot. Minoru Suzuki's 5'8".
Oh wow.
And 53.
Yeah, and he's 53 years old. Is he 53? Is he 53 now or here?
He's like 52 there.
52
no, he's.
Here?
And if you ever want to
learn
more about
Kino, he's right behind the camera guy now.
Oh.
That's funny.
Sorry.
You're good. If you want to know something kind of like frightening, like to build up or for producer to build up like what Suzuki is, he started his own MMA promotion in Japan and has a very good, legit technical wrestling background. People like Josh Barnett have talked about like grappling with him, and he's able to use his ankles. Like he can pull someone and hold him, and he'll use his ankles and shins to just beat the fuck out of them.
Yeah.
And like it just hurt them. It's just. He's so frightening.
Yeah. But yeah, didn't Suzuki have like a successful MMA career in Japan?
Yeah, he has his own company.
His own company. Was he the guy who made the worked shoot MMA wrestling company?
No, that was Antonio Inoki. That was
Inoki. Okay.
That was Inoki Genome Federation, and that also came out of New Japan because he did the same thing in New Japan.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, that was great. That was simple too. He was stuck in a headlock, so Suzuki just starts pushing down on the knee to get leverage on him. And Thatcher's all like, yeah, I can do that too, dick. Forearming him.
But you don't got little boots.
Yeah, that's a good point. Sticking his tongue out like a crazy person.
Yeah. Like, you're not... I don't give a shit about this.
Yeah. Yep. What's really cool about this too, the way they're doing it, is it's like standing catch wrestling. Like, a lot of people think of like catch wrestling like being on the mat. See that guy in the black shirt with the white rim around it? That's my buddy Kino. I met him when I went to go meet Jake the Snake Roberts for the first time. He was wearing a Kamala shirt, and I was like, he's the guy. That's the dude right there. And also, if you ever go back, I mean, they post it all the time. Anytime they post a picture of The Rock and Cena face to face, there's a giant Kino 316 sign behind him.
Yeah.
That's him. That's him. Oh. Yeah, these guys are great. They're just looking like they're trying to, don't fart. Yeah. Look at the way he does that ankle lock. Looked intense. Yeah. Thatcher's all like, fuck you, dude. I'm trying to walk again someday.
The thing, too, that I like with Suzuki as well, that I think comes through in his, like, that makes him more intense, is there is never a loss of respect.
Yeah.
Like, he never diminishes or, like with an opponent, he knows he might, even if he pauses, there's like I'm not going to give you the time, like, I'm not going to diminish who you are. I'm not going to, like, turn this down.
Yes, 100%. He wrestled everyone like they're a credible threat. Like, you wouldn't get in this ring if you weren't a credible threat. You know what I mean? Which is also a big deal.
Well, it's a thing that I think is lost in a lot of times when it's supposed to be, if you want to develop somebody who's really, truly scary, it's kind of silly to watch them take someone not seriously. I think what makes Walter so scary is he never does that too. It's the same thing. He doesn't matter if he's fighting someone, if he's fighting fucking Cheeseburger in Ring of Honor. He never lifts off the gas.
Yes. Yeah.
Oof.
Ooh, jeez. Yep. So, producer was asking what the psychology is of this match, and I would say, like, as you look move for move, they're not going from spot to spot. It's trying to get the better of the opponent, trying to get the leverage on them, trying to twist them up, get them to be in so much pain that they're either not willing to kick out or they're willing to give up. And you can tell that they didn't list off, here's my spots, when do we do them? It's just, the match is just two people fighting and trying to win. Like right there, Thatcher got out of the ring because he was caught up in a spot and needed to regain his senses. Matter of fact, kayfabe-wise, he might have been a little lightheaded from that headlock and thought, fuck, if I'm not careful, one punch will take me down.
So Suzuki's finisher is a Thatch style pile, or is a pile driver. It's just a very simple pile driver.
Yeah.
But if you're worn down and stuff, like, he almost got it. He was very close to getting that pile driver.
Oh.
I think also, if I were to throw something to producer in terms of what I would say this match is, this is two people. So Thatcher is a mat wrestler. You can see that in NXT, but even more so outside of it. He's a ring general. He's a mat wrestler. He's technique over anything. Minoru Suzuki's a frightening monster, but he is trained by Les Thatcher. He learned in the old way, and his style is purely mat. So it's who is the best of these two very similar people. This isn't a match for skill. This is a fight to see who's the best.
Yes. It's not, you're not trying to win to get a prize. You're trying to win to prove that you're the better technician in one sense. So like Thatcher being such a catch wrestler, being a mat wrestler, like no one's running on the ropes, you know? And then Suzuki just being an actual badass old man, just being like, also trained in that old school way. Oh, that's funny. That's a bit of a taunt.
Remind me of kids when they play Mercy.
Yeah, like kids playing Mercy in a way, except they're skilled fighters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when I was in Department of Corrections and we did all the self-defense and stuff, like, yo, taking down your buddy out of nowhere was just a thing. Because it also kind of heightens your ability to stay up top, you know, to stay aware.
Yeah. One thing, too, and what I really wanted to find in terms of matches for Suzuki, the other ones, if I could, that I would have put up, Suzuki had a match with Jushin Thunder Liger around the end of his career.
Okay.
And in the match, so Suzuki beats him, but there's this respect at the end. Like, he goes all in. It's rough. It's really bad. He does still, like, yeah, you went there. And it's a really impressive but, like, endearing moment, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he does that a lot with people where he'll do, like, beat the ring boys because he wants the fight, but he won't beat the shit out of the people around him if it's a good match, if he feels challenged. Damn, this is good.
Yeah, this is awesome, dude. That's what I mean too. This is what disappointed me about the one with Daniel Bryan, was it felt like chopping each other back and forth and throwing forearms. It felt like watching two dudes in the Royal Rumble in the corner. You know what I mean? Where it's all like, oh, I guess they're just gonna throw elbows. Like the Good Brothers have said it before, that every time there was a Rumble, they called it throwing elbows with the bros, because so much of those things are just, we're gonna go back and forth with our elbows and kind of just make it look like we're doing something. And that's what it felt like over there. Look at, he's like, oh, fucking with the ref. Although, you know what's not happening here that did happen in the Dana Bryan one, dude? Bryce Remsburg, the referee, really almost like went out of his way to try and ruin that match by trying to make himself a focus. He kept standing right between them. Anytime there was a hard cam shot, he was right in it. And he was like making a bunch of expressions based off everything they were doing, cartoonishly more exuberant than the actual wrestlers. He was taking away from two dudes who were trying to tell a story, and that also had played a role in me not liking it.
How is it different than when Robinson makes faces?
Robinson's in the corner. You have to be looking at Robinson to see it.
No, that would be the counter argument.
Fuck this random ass homie's in the corner. He's aware of it. I would say this too. I wonder if what happened in AEW when it was Suzuki versus Bryan or versus Danielson, they wouldn't let something that, oh shit, that slap.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let something like this happen because it's perceived as boring. But I don't think it's boring. If you watch, everyone seems really focused on this. It's really intense. You don't see things like this a lot because it's, I'll even give WWE doesn't do this level of it,
Often.
but you need, like, if you let it go and do it right, you can. I'm upset because I feel like Danielson and Suzuki could have done something along these lines and it would have been amazing.
This is what I was expecting, and it's not what I got. I got a slap fight and a referee goofing off. You know what I mean?
How's this ref?
This ref's good. I can't even see him most of the time.
Great, by the way, great leg, foot to the ropes there, because it was a fight to it the entire time.
Yeah.
And I'll actually knock WWE more, because I feel like legs on ropes and stuff, they always feel like just a really random occurrence.
Yeah.
Like they build it up way too much. That was built up, but it wasn't this over the top thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Dude, also, with Suzuki and Daniel Bryan, it got to a point where Suzuki was following the rules, but Bryce was like getting between him and Daniel Bryan so he could like make a scene out of himself, and Suzuki like puts his hands on the ref and like escorts him to the corner of the ring, and then like starts like wiping off his ref shirt, almost as if it felt like he was saying, "You stay here and remember to do your job and allow me to do mine."
And I would almost say that was like a, hey, do a spot with the ref, because some of the things that Suzuki is known for that he's done is like abusing the new young boys in New Japan or Red Shoes.
Yeah.
He beat the shit out of Red Shoes, which is their ref.
That's funny.
But it made sense. Like, that's just like he's a fighter. Don't get in his way when he's doing things. Again, great way to get the rope. He's truly fighting for it.
Yeah.
And then
Getting the
Suzuki's
toe
not
on it.
letting go. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the other thing too in WWE that like you said could be done better. He got the toe on the rope. A lot of the guys who get on the rope in WWE, it's like their knee. You know what I mean? Like their whole leg is already there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It took. How is it this hard for you to just not bend your leg? I love this. Like now it's him trying to like show a little bit of it, a little bit of that break, and Thatcher just looking like a monster. Like who the?
Yeah.
Oh God, Thatcher's face, and then Suzuki's. Like it's just like it's like an old like. It's not that anger, but it's like, I see what you're doing. I'm in control. Keep going. I want more of this. Give me more. You know. No
And
one
this-
looks scary or smiling.
Yeah. And that was like that was with a fist. That wasn't an open hand chop. But you know what? This part, if I were to give psychology to this moment, it's because they've been twisting each other up this whole time that they're getting to the point where they don't know if one is better than the other. And they don't want to keep testing that. So it's like, but I bet you I can outpunch you is kind of where we're getting, you know? It gets a little bit more raw.
Mm-hmm.
Arm wrestling fight at this point.
Kind of. Yeah.
Fuck. And yeah, they're not chops. He's forearming him with a closed fist.
Yep. Yeah, they are not chops. Oh. And then it's, yeah, this is just kind of a brute strength thing versus a twisting you up thing. Kuro's in the chat. Cheers to Kuro. Thanks for coming through.
Toothless Timmy. Do.
Yeah.
Probably know what we're watching.
I don't know. Kuro, we're doing a watch along for Suzuki and Timothy Thatcher from Over the Top Wrestling.
2019.
Mm-hmm. 2019.
We're seeing him.
Yeah, because we're gonna go to. I'm going to Bloodsport tomorrow in LA, and then the next day he's Suzuki's in a match with Nick Gage, and me and producer are both gonna be there for that one too.
I love this too in that
Oh,
Thatcher's letting him hit him, and it's almost like, you didn't knock me down. I get to take a shot at you now.
yeah,
And you took 3, and I'm gonna get you down.
yeah. And Thatcher just kind of collapsing,
Yeah.
grabbing his leg, like, hold the fucking phone.
Time out. Pause.
Yeah, give me a damn second here. Ooh.
No wonder he doesn't have teeth now.
Yeah, that'll knock your teeth out. Suzuki's like, I did it.
Yay!
But in a match like this, where it's more or less two dudes trying to prove they're tougher and smarter than the other guy when it comes to the in-ring wrestling, this does make sense in this specific atmosphere, because he's all like, look, I outpunched you. You know what I mean?
Well, and it's also like you've had other, like, a diversity in it. Like, you've done different things. If you make it work and split it in different ways, you can have a middle that's a bit of a calmness, but you
Yes.
gotta, yeah.
And then in this case, Thatcher's trying to prove he's tough by getting through this. Yeah.
I'll,
Ooh.
I didn't see that coming.
Oh.
I'll also say this, something I like that Thatcher's doing, and it's really, really subtle, and it might be hard to see on your screen. He is so tensing his muscles up after these hits. Like, you can see him, like, physically shaking to make, and that adds so much to it for me. It's just him trying to flex. It's like, in every way, I'm better than you, or trying to be.
Yeah. Once he takes a hit, he flexes because it's all like, I'm strong. No.
And Suzuki does nothing.
No, producer's asking if it was a tap out. It was almost like a hitting of frustration, but it wasn't a tap because
I don't know the difference.
it's pretty subtle and it's not great. Like, I'll give you that if a ref had called a tap out on that one, it would be understandable. But there is a slight difference. We've seen it every now and again where someone's like in a hold and they'll slap the mat like once or twice, and then you see the ref being like, "Are you giving up?" That's why a lot of times they don't. Ooh.
Yep. Oh!
Yeah.
Good choke.
Yeah, this is phenomenal, dude.
Mm-hmm. I know how to pick them.
No. See, and I think that's what has annoyed me about Suzuki and AEW so far is he hasn't put on a single match like this yet, and there's no reason why he can't. He's in there with people who can, you know? Look at Thatcher. Oh! Just crumpled him up. Dead.
And the way he does that, like, it's not... You see pile drivers, but he does it with such a slow, like...
Mm-hmm.
It's just so good.
And doing the choke first to get him lightheaded, so when he does that pile driver, it's all that more impactful.
He's one of the people, so I say this a lot with people wrestling, where I feel like if finishing moves aren't going to matter, you have to have a finishing sequence, and he always does.
Yeah, and he goes, I'm fucking with you.
Oh, what a jerk.
Oh, he's going to go with Wet Willie. Suzuki's a psychopath.
He is. He is.
Yeah.
In the best way.
Yeah.
I mean, who else but him has a collaboration with fucking Sanrio?
Yeah. Yeah.
He has Hello Kitty shirts.
Yeah, Amanda has one.
Yeah.
Amanda's on a cruise.
Yeah, she's on the Jericho cruise right now. She
Also,
sent
like,
me I went and looked up the list to see all the people who are going to be there. She goes, "Oh, is there anybody there you want me to get like something signed for?" And I was looking at the thing and I was like, "Nah." Yeah.
Can you impolitely ask Jericho why?
No.
Just that, like, no other words, just why.
No. I saw someone else tweet out too. They're all like, "Oh, with all this talent on the Jericho cruise, is Dynamite going to be kind of thin with stuff?" And I was like, "You clearly did not look to see who was on that cruise, because it is a lot of people they do not use very often, and it is a chunk of the mid card. Like there was nobody who's been anywhere near the world title scene or any of that at all."
Yeah,
I was actually kind of surprised. Yeah,
we're not doing another show on a boat episode.
Yeah, 100%. I was surprised. I thought it would, but it's just not what it was. So that was the first Suzuki match you got to see.
It was pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect that from like 50-plus-year-old. That was crazy.
Dude's a monster.
Like he's in his 30s.
Well, and it's so with New Japan and a lot of wrestlers, a lot of wrestlers in a lot of places that aren't WWE, because you're not somebody who's 7 feet tall or 400 pounds. There is some loss of mobility just based on your size. Mm-hmm. You know, you're putting more strain on your joints and stuff like that. But also, he works a very non-risky style. It is a legitimate combat style. And with that, he can go on for a long time. You know, like when you say he might be in a retirement run, maybe, but I could see him doing this in 10 more years.
Yeah, he's got that Stu Hart vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Or that Jerry Briscoe vibe where it's all like, if I want to hook you, you'd be hooked. You know what I mean? Like, you go, yeah, some old man could just beat the shit out of everybody, and he's that type.
He's going to have those Terry Funk retirements.
Yeah. Well, and at first, I didn't think it at all. I was like, oh, yeah, no, there's no way. But the last couple matches I saw him do in AEW, I thought, he's definitely not putting out what he was putting out before. Yeah. So maybe. But I'm also hearing that the stuff he's doing on the indies is actually better than the stuff he's doing on TV, which is insanity to me. I don't know why that's happening. But I'll be able to tell you because tomorrow I'm going to see him in a fight at Bloodsport, which is going to be incredible. And
where's Bloodsport at?
It's the same place. It's in LA.
You're flying out tonight? Or?
I'm driving out first thing in the morning. I'm going to be there by the time the show starts. Yeah. And then actually producer's going to fly out tomorrow afternoon and meet up with me on Saturday for the GCW show. So It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why we wanted to do this, to get a little bit more excited for that, especially because the last couple of Suzuki matches did not make me excited for it. And I was like, I want to remember why I'm going again. You know?
It's still real to me.
Yeah. Get a little bit excited. Get ready. Get pumped. Talk a little shit. And also tipsy. Be able to... Yeah, get a little tipsy. And also so we can get up at a reasonable time so I can drive to LA. So... but awesome, dude. I like this match. I'm glad you liked the Roman match. This was good. We'll be back next week for a brand new episode 1, and we'll go over what I saw down in GCW. I'm gonna take pictures. I'm gonna post stuff. So if you guys want to see that as it comes around, at WOTR the show, I am at Ref Marsh. Is there anything you think we're missing?
I think we're good. Let's do a last call. Let's bounce out.
Let's get it, guys. We will be back for a brand new episode 1 right here in the dive bar of the IWC. Guys, that's the last call. Cheers.
Hey, producer lady here. Thanks for tuning in. Continue to support us or buy us a drink by following and putting the I in subscribe on Twitch. Or subscribe and review our podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to us. Cheers.
I would never have a drink with wrestling on the rocks.